Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 93 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on today. So, yay, I made it to day 93. 7 days to go, one more week. Woohoo! I'm already waking up with ideas in my head, the same idea of what I'm going to do for my next 100 days, and it's kind of interesting. I did that yesterday and today, and it's kind of like every time I wake up with that idea in my head, I just get like really, really excited. I feel really good. So, kind of looking forward to my next 100 days. Kind of a little nervous about my next 100 days. Trying to remember to stay into today. So, I survived another day. I am so tired. I'm so tired. Um, I took a friend, my Al-Anon sponsor, and we went to a speaker meeting tonight. It was at a restaurant, and I should not have ordered the food there, but I did. One, because I don't really have the extra money, and two, it's hard to get stuff that doesn't have dairy in it. And then it was super, super spicy, and I don't really do spicy. I was like totally burning my tongue, and the best way to get rid of the burning is to have something that has dairy in it, like sour cream or milk. And so I had some, but now I'm having issues because my body doesn't like it. So not a wise decision. So if I go back there, I'm not ordering food. I will eat before I go. Anyway, but it was kind of fun to get together with a whole bunch of people, um, all there for the same reasons, all there kind of wanting to hear other people's experience, strength, and hope, and kind of just knowing that we're not alone. So it was really nice. It was really fun and encouraging. So I'm glad I got to do that today. Um, and then I went to work after that, and I finally decided to wear my tennis shoes. I think I've talked about that a few times. I know my vision board friend hurt her toe, and she's been wearing her tennis shoes, and I've just been wearing my sandals like I always do. So decided I wore my tennis shoes, and oddly, it was not as painful walking around. My toes hurt a little bit more with my shoes on, but my foot and my ankle did not hurt nearly as much tonight. So I was like, yay, this actually works better with the tennis shoes. I should be wearing them more often than the last couple of weeks. So, yay for that. And the little patches that I have, I put on my shoulder today, and so my shoulder wasn't hurting while I was working today. So I'm like, yay, that seems to be working. So I'm doing things that are working. I think it's just temporarily putting off the pain in the process of healing because I keep using the injured parts of my body because I have to keep working. But so I did that today. So I was like, yay. And that's pretty much my day. I mean, I did do some other stuff this morning, and I did try to take a nap, and I just feel like I'm not getting a lot of sleep. I'm just really tired, stressing about finances and having to constantly remind myself that it's okay, that God is aware of what I need, and He's going to help me. He's going to help me reach my goals, and it's always amazing. It's always miraculous, one way or the other, how that happens. So I don't need to stress about it. I don't need to worry about it. I just need to trust, and everything will fall into place. So, um, trying to work on that. Not the easiest thing in the world, but doing the best I can. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm soaking my foot right now. I did not soak my foot yesterday, and I think I really paid for it today. I kept thinking I need to soak it because I'm thinking about those Epsom salts and the Serenity oils or whatever. I think really helps my foot feel better. And so last night when I didn't feel like filling up my crock pot with water, I decided to just use my heating pad on my foot, which, no, I did that this morning. I put my heating pad on my foot because I didn't want to, because I was just had it on my shoulder and I just didn't want to like carry the big old thing of water because it's heavy. So I'm like, I just put the heating pad on, and it worked for a little bit, but it's not quite the same as soaking it. So tonight I'm soaking it. And I noticed earlier today the rug burn that I have on my shin is it's scabbed over a little bit, and the scab is coming off. And normally, for me, when I have something that's like a sore that scabs over, I'm always picking at that scab and usually making it bleed. If I'm perfectly honest, I am. But this one, I've just been putting on like the triple ointment, antibiotic ointment that's supposed to help your sores heal and been cleaning it out and putting some frankincense oils on it, whatever. But I haven't been peeling anything off. And so the little scabs have been kind of just falling off all by themselves. And I noticed that today. I was just rubbing stuff on it. It just kind of rubbed off, like it just flaked off like dry skin or something. And I was like, cool. I didn't have to pick at it. I didn't have to do anything. And whatever parts were ready to come off came off. And I wasn't like pulling anything. It wasn't painful. It didn't make anything bleed. And it wasn't like I wasn't consciously aware of the fact that I wasn't doing it until stuff started peeling off today. And I was like, wait a minute. I haven't been picking at it. I haven't been messing with it. I've just been, checking on it every day and making sure that it's healing and cleaning it out and putting ointment on it and then just leaving it alone. And that's a new response for me, which is amazing. I was like, I didn't even realize I was responding differently to how I've been treating myself and taking care of myself with these injuries. And until that, and it was like, wait, I'm actually doing stuff. I'm not just like, okay, doing it once and I'm done. I'm like repeating the behavior. I'm like constantly putting the ointment on my sore from the rug burn. I'm constantly soaking my foot and icing my leg. I've been heating my shoulder, putting those, once I figured out I had those little strips that are supposed to help with like injuries and stuff that, with little medication that soaks into your shoulder or your skin or whatever to help with that. I've been doing those things. I'm doing things that are beneficial to my body, and not just once, but multiple times. And I'm not picking at my injuries. I'm not like, oh, this hurts. How much more can I make it hurt? Or what can I do? Because I do that sometimes. Like something hurts and I just won't leave it alone because it hurts. I don't know why I pick at stuff. Or I get scabs or sores and I just pick at them. I even have, you can't really see. I have like a little tiny little indent right there from where I picked up a chickenpox. My Annie Jean, she was my grandma's sister. She used to tell me stories of when I had chickenpox because I was living with her at the time that I had chickenpox. I was 4. I honestly do not remember having chickenpox. I do not remember living with them when I was 4. I just know that I was. So anyway, she told me I got chickenpox when I was living with them, and that I was really good not to pick any of the other chickenpox, but I picked that one right there on my nose, and I scratched at it and picked at it every single day, and she could not get me to leave that one alone. I was just so stubborn, and I had to get that one chickenpox, and I made it like bleed, and it left a scar. But I left all the other chickenpox. I don't even understand. That was just kind of a funny random story. Makes absolutely no sense, but it's the story of my life. Every time I get a cut or a scrape, and it starts to scab over, and I'm like, because it itches. It itches when it heals, and it scabs over, and then I just pick at it. I pick it off, and then I peel it off, and then it bleeds, and then I have to put a Band-Aid on it, and I'm not doing that this time. I was surprised at myself today that I'm not doing that. I was like, oh, I changed my behavior, and I didn't even realize it. So it was just. I just kind of love the random things, and it's like, oh, this is a new awareness to me. And maybe for people watching these videos, this isn't like something new. You're more aware of seeing the changes in me. My vision board friend keeps telling me all the changes I'm making and how it's like night and day, and all the stuff that I'm learning and how great I'm doing. And I'm like, thanks. But it takes longer for all of that to sink in for me to see it myself, because sometimes I still feel like I'm struggling. I still feel like I'm in that process of changing. I still feel like I'm that caterpillar in the cocoon and I haven't quite turned into the butterfly yet. Or I keep poking my head out like I'm going to come out the pretty butterfly, and then I like curl back up into my little cocoon. Because it's scary. It's different. It's changed. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming out, and I'm looking around. I'm like, I'm different. I have wings now. Different colors, different things. It's all new experiences from this point forward. So, which is exciting, which brings me to what I want to do for my next 100 days, which is I want to celebrate myself. I want to celebrate my accomplishments. I want to celebrate my life. I want to celebrate the gifts and blessings that I have. I want to celebrate the friends that I have in my life. So I want to do 100 days of celebrating myself, which seems kind of weird. Part of me is like worried about being like all cocky or arrogant or whatever, or sounding like I'm better than other people. And then I'm like, no, it really isn't that. It's more, I think it's more a self esteem thing. I think it's more seeing myself the way that God sees me and recognizing all the things that I have of value to celebrate, to use, all the gifts that I have in my life, because I think I've spent so much of my time, so much of my life, my self esteem focused on what other people thought of me, how I felt other people viewed me, not necessarily how they viewed me, just how I felt they viewed me, or my interpretation of how I thought they viewed me. Um, Also, just not feeling like I had any special gifts or talents, always having the idea in my head that someday I would, get married, be a wife, have kids, and, or being the peacemaker. Those were the things that I was told growing up, or the things that I wanted, the goals in my life. And if I can't achieve those things, if I can't have those things, then I don't have purpose. I don't have value, because that's what I placed my value in. That's what I place the value of myself on, that if I don't have those things, that I don't have value. It's not something someone else told me. It's something I told myself. Like, those are the things that I wanted. Those are the things that I felt were good to have. I'm good with kids. I love kids. I want my kids. I always wanted to be married, have that happily ever after. And it was also because I think I wanted a husband that was going to make me feel good about myself. And I was going to be happy and wonderful because he was going to love me and make me feel good about myself. And I was going to make the relationship work. And I was going to be this great mom and all of those things. And things just haven't worked out the way that I anticipated in my life. And not that I haven't had good things happen in my life, but I focus so much on the things that haven't worked out, and so much on the things that I haven't gotten, all the things that I placed my hopes and dreams and values in. Like, what do they say? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I think I kind of did. And everything got broken. And I'm just like, what do I do now? And I have all of these other empty baskets that I haven't filled up in my life. And in doing these videos, I have started to fill up those other baskets. So I think, for some reason, God is telling me that I need to celebrate all the baskets that I've been filling up, that I have all those other things in my life to celebrate, all those other things that are good, that are positive. And maybe it's not the one basket that's full of broken eggs. Maybe some of those will get fixed. Maybe some of those can get moved to other baskets. Maybe some of those dreams may still come true. Maybe they never will. But I have so many other things that are full and that work in my life. And my focus has just been so much on what hasn't. So it'll be interesting to celebrate myself, to celebrate my gifts, my talents, to tell myself that I have value, that I'm worthy of things. I I had a customer tonight that was telling me that I need to be confident in myself. He's like, "Oh, you're confident. I can tell you just need to do your writing. Just do this." Because he asked me what I do on the side or what other things I like to do, and I was like, writing. So he's like, "Oh yeah, just do it. Just don't get in your way and just do it." And I was like, "That's so easy to say, but it's not so easy to do." But I didn't argue, and I was like, "Oh, thanks. I'm so glad you think that. You don't even know me." But I think a lot of my life has been that way, where I haven't felt like anything that I have done has been good enough. I had that dumb stigmatism. It's not good enough. I can't like it. I won't like it. I can't do it. I can't afford it. And focusing on today has helped me to see a lot of the things that I can do and accomplish in a day. It's helped me to be much more aware of God in my life and how He has blessed me every day, and how I always seem to have the things that I need. May not always have the extra, may not always get what I want, but I always have what I need. And I am blessed and I am loved. And I have so much more to offer and so much more value than I ever gave myself credit for, that I ever believed in myself, because I didn't feel like people believed in me when I was growing up. Because everything I wanted to try, everything I wanted to do, someone else could do it better, or we didn't have the time or the money, or no one else wanted to do it, so I didn't get to do it because for whatever reason, it's like no one else wants to do it, so you're on your own, or you just don't get to do it because nobody else is going to do it, so you get to stay here and do what everybody else is doing. So I learned to feel like what I wanted to do in life was wrong, or if I couldn't get someone else to do it with me, that maybe it wasn't an okay thing to do. And a lot of that has changed. A lot of those thought processes have changed. My perspective on life has been changing since I started doing those gratitude videos, or since I did those gratitude videos. But since I've started doing these 100-day sets of YouTube videos, I don't think anywhere in any of those ideas in my head where I was moving forward, I didn't know that I was going to do anything like just focusing on today and figuring out how I'm going to get through today. Certainly never thought that I was going to do 100 days of celebrating myself, that I would feel confident enough to do that. I don't necessarily feel confident enough to do that, but I keep waking up and I was like, I get to celebrate today, and I'm like, celebrate myself. And I keep thinking that, and every time I do, I'm not a morning person. I don't like to wake up. I don't like to get out of bed. But it's so funny because that thought enters my head, and then I feel myself smiling, and suddenly I have a little bit of energy, and I'm willing to get up. I'm willing to move. I'm willing to do. So I'm like, okay, there is a purpose. God has a purpose. He knows what he needs me to do and why. And he's been teaching me a lot just by staying in today and showing me the changes and the progress that I have been making. And without even realizing it, I have changed. Like, I'm not picking at old wounds. I'm not complaining about illnesses or ailments or things like that. I'm just dealing with things, and I'm moving forward, and I'm finding the positive in everyday life, and I'm going out with my friends. I'm getting some energy back. I'm doing things. Probably pushing myself more than I should. I should, need a lot more rest than I've been giving myself. But I've been doing, and I'm so grateful to be out and about and doing, even if I'm not doing very much or for very long. And kind of going out and about kind of takes over my doing anything at home, because I don't have the energy for both right now. Hopefully, I will be able to have more energy to do that in the future. But baby steps. It's going to take time to get energy back. It's going to take time to get myself to where I'm ready to exercise on a regular basis and start losing weight, which would also give me more energy to eat a little more healthier, which will give me more energy to start getting my body convinced that it needs to sleep for more than like 3 hours at a time. That would be amazing. So lots of things that need to change, but it's going to take time. And as those things change, I will sleep better. I will have more energy. I will feel better. And then I will have random days like today where I'll be like, oh, wait, I've been changing. Oh, wait, I'm responding differently. And I didn't even realize it. It's just, I just look around and I'm like, wait, this is different. And I'm like, oh, wait, it's not. I am. And it's good to me. It's good for me, I think. And I enjoy seeing the positive changes that I'm making, that I'm responding differently, better, that I'm, like I said, taking better care of myself, even if it's just taking better care of my injuries and not beating myself up, or not aggravating the injuries, but trying, I mean, I am, because I'm going to work and I'm walking on them, but I'm trying to also do things to help them to feel better, to help them to heal faster. And like I said, not picking at them. I'm like, okay, my shoulder hurt the other night, so I quit work early because I was in pain. I'm like, I'm not going to keep doing this, and and today I noticed I'm not picking at the scabs. I'm just letting it heal over just naturally the way that it wants to. So I'm just so grateful to see the progress that I'm making, to see the changes that, I mean, and they're little things, but those little things are making a huge difference in how I see myself and how I feel about myself. And these are things that I get to celebrate. I get to celebrate today. I get to celebrate for 100 days. I'm starting in a week doing that. It's going to be interesting to figure out what to celebrate about myself and my life and how I choose to do that. I honestly have no idea right now, but if anybody does have ideas or suggestions on how I can celebrate myself in the next week for my 100 days, or even while I'm doing my 100-day videos, I am more than willing to, I'm open to ideas and suggestions, I should say. And if anybody wants to celebrate themselves along with me, I think that would be awesome too. Because we all should be celebrated. We should all celebrate our successes and the changes and things that we're making, the progress that we're making. because those little things make a huge difference. And sometimes we get so focused on how far we want to go or the end goal that we forget to see the progress we've made, like where we came from. And it's like, okay, I can look back and be like, okay, this is where I was a year ago. This is where I am today. And it's so different. It's so different. Still struggling financially, honestly. But I feel so different about myself and my situation than I did a year ago. A year ago, I hated where I was living. A year ago, I I was super depressed. I didn't even want to go to work. I didn't care. I was hiding in my room. I wasn't getting dressed. I wasn't going outside. I was barely eating. I was just, it was horrible. And now I'm like, I I'm going to work and I've hurt myself, but I'm soaking my feet. I'm taking care of myself. I'm going to work. This isn't my favorite place to live, but I don't hate it. I've gotten used to it for the most part. There's still some things I could do to make it a little bit more comfortable and homey. I know it's not my permanent place. I won't be here forever, but it's doable, and I'm grateful for that too. So I'm just grateful for all the things that I'm learning and the changes, and mostly it's just been a change in my attitude and a change in my perspective and how I treat myself. And as I treat myself differently and better, as I see myself the way that God sees me, I think I have more compassion and love for myself, and it gives me more compassion and love for other people, and it helps me to not. I don't feel like I'm quite as judgmental. I'm not looking at people and being jealous that they have what I want, or being angry that I don't have those things. I'm like, I'm okay with them having it, but I'm just mad that I don't either. And I'm letting go of a lot of that. I don't need that. I don't need to be jealous. I don't need to be judgmental. I don't need to beat myself up. I don't need to judge other people. And most of it I do in my head. I don't verbally say things to other people. It's just always been in my head. Like, why do they get to have the happy family and the kids and I don't? Or why do they have this and I don't? Or they seem so perfect and so happy, and I don't even know, because I only see what's on the surface. We all only see what's on the surface. And sometimes um, we don't see what's on the inside. We don't see what's going on with other people. We don't see their emotional struggles or their mental struggles. And I mean, sometimes you can see the physical struggles, but even the physical struggles don't tell you what their emotional struggles equate to. So it's given me a lot of different perspectives, and I'm really grateful for that. And focusing on today has helped me to let go of a lot of things, to just be like, I can't deal with whatever from the past, or I can take the time to be like, okay, this old memory is coming up and I can feel that emotion, and then I can be like, okay, but this is the past and this is not today. And I know there's still things that keep coming up, that keep getting in my way, to make me feel like I'm not good enough or I can't do things. Even today, I've had some of those things, and I had one of those realizations before I did this video, and I don't remember what it was. So I'm sure it'll come back to me maybe when I'm writing my journal, but probably just more of the I can't, or something that has to do with that, and I just let it be all about those things. Oh, I do know what it was. It has to do with sharing, because as I've mentioned before, my stories are personal. They're my safe place. I've created them as my means of dealing with reality, or not dealing with reality, whichever way you want to look at it. My place to run away and be safe. But it was also the place that nobody else could get into. Nobody else knew unless I shared it with them or told them about it. But then they still don't know all the details. They don't know all the things that go on in my head. It never will. Even writing my books, it's not going to come out all of that one way or the other. But I realized today that maybe part of my issues in writing and sharing those stories is the letting go part. And it also is because a lot of nice things that I had, clothes or other things that I had, I was always forced to share, or they were taken away because somebody else needed it more. And it's silly stuff. Like, I went to a Relief Society activity. It was called homemaking years ago, and we learned how to like plant herbs and stuff, so you can grow your own herbs and use them. And so I had like 4 pots, and I had like 4 plants, and I grew all 4 of these plants, and I'd named them all, and I took care of them, and they were growing, and they were all pretty, and they were all fun. And then I was going to go off to college, and I hadn't decided what I was going to do with them. And my mom just decided to give them away for me. Like, she didn't ask me if she could give them away. She's like, oh yeah, I was telling my coworker about your plants and stuff, and she's really excited, and so she's going to take them. And I was like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm just going to take him to work and give him to her. She's like, and I was like, what? I didn't want you to. I was like, she's like, well, you're going off to college, so what are you going to do with them? I was like, well, I could take them with me. And then she gave me some of her other plants that were dying that I could take with me to college. And honestly, I put them out on the porch, and I never did anything with them, and they died because I didn't care. They weren't my plants, and to me, it was a poor substitute to the ones that I had named, and they were their little seeds, and I'd watched them grow and all of those things. And it was just, that's a pattern of things in my life. I would make stuff, and I always saw the imperfections and gave it away because I didn't feel like it was good enough. Or I would get something like hand-me-down clothes that were like really nice store-bought stuff for my cousins, and my mom would give the nice ones or the ones that I wanted away to neighbors. Or I would have nice clothes, and my sister would always wear them, so I never had clean clothes, and my mom would always say it's okay. So, but my stories are my stories. They're in my head, and nobody can take them away. Nobody can give them away. They're mine. Um, and I know that may seem silly, maybe that seems selfish, but when you don't feel like you have a lot of things that are yours in life. But I'm also learning that it's like I use them as a means to run away from reality. But writing them and sharing them allows other people an escape as well, or it allows them to enjoy what I have, like to share it. But it becomes my choice to share it. But it also is one of those things, once I turn it into a book and put it out there for the public to buy, I have no idea who will buy it, who will read it, who will like it, who won't like it. Again, I have no control of that, which a lot of focusing on today has helped me to see how much I don't have control over what happens in my day, and that my day still turns out okay. And, I was late going to pick up my friend tonight, and she was planning on ordering food when we got there, and then she ate before we got there because she totally forgot about it. And then she kept apologizing. She's like, normally when I say I'm going to do something, she's like, but my day just got all crazy. And I was like, you know what? It's okay. And it was okay. I wasn't upset. It didn't matter. Like, she didn't want to order food. That's fine. We could still sit and chat. She could chat with the other people. It was no big deal because, and I was fine with it. I wasn't really upset about it. I was just like, oh, it's okay. She's like, but she seemed bothered by it. And I was like, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. I'm not upset by it. But I've learned that it doesn't matter. Little things like that are not a big deal. We still went to the same speaker meeting together. We still had fun. She still got to catch up with some old friends of hers, and I got to talk with some people too. And so it was nice to get out and to see people and to do stuff tonight. And it didn't matter if she ordered food or not. And I ordered food and wished I had it. So I mean, but I never know how today is going to go. And I know it always turns out the way that it needs to, but not necessarily the way that I've planned it out. And I've spent less time trying to plan and do to-do lists because they don't really work for me. And then I just I feel super good and accomplished if I do everything on my to-do list. But if I don't, I just feel super depressed and disappointed. And it's just more unmet expectations, premeditated resentments, an excuse to beat myself up. But I don't need any excuses to be mean to myself. So another reason to celebrate myself is to learn not to beat myself up for things. So that'll be quite an interesting 100 days, to say the least. But it was kind of interesting because my friend is struggling with that. Like, oh, I feel bad that I said I was going to do this and I didn't. And I was like, it doesn't matter. It's your money, and you didn't have to spend any money. So you got everything, you got to come and hang out and do whatever. So it was fine. It was not a big deal, which is just fine. So that's kind of where where I'm at. I'm just learning today that everything turns out the way that it's supposed to, but I don't have control over things, and I need to stop trying to be in control of things because it just makes me crazy, and I miss out on other things and other opportunities. And who knows how much fun it would be to celebrate actually publishing a book. That would be awesome. But it also means that I have to share that part of myself. But I think in sharing, it allows me to truly be myself, to truly accept who I am in order to share who I am. I have to see who I am. I have to accept who I am. I have to be grateful for who I am so that I can share it and put it out there and not be hurt or offended if other people don't like who I am, or be open to accepting and believing when other people think that I am amazing or can do great things or think that I'm a good friend or any of those nice qualities that people sometimes say about me. And I always look at them like, I don't think you really know me, or you wouldn't say that. But I think the more I get to know me, I realize that I do have good qualities. I can be a good friend. I can be a good listener. I don't always do those things, but I can. And some days I think I do better than others. But it's a learning process, and I love that I'm willing to learn, and I love that I can keep learning and that I can share what I'm learning in these videos, and I hope that you find them helpful. And if you do, you can hit like, subscribe, or share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I think that's all that I have for today. So I hope you have a great day full of gratitude and maybe do some writing.